Welcome you to our 5 Ways to Massive Profits webinar. For those of you who are signed up for this and listening to it after the fact, welcome to you as well. Being in business is a tough gig sometimes. It's one of the loneliest jobs there is. So I want to first of all thank you all for registering for this webinar to find out what business coaching is and how to grow your business. There's one most important business formula that we teach at Action Coach that every business owner must know if you want to achieve massive results. And we're going to walk through that today. That is the 5 ways to massive profits. We find that by implementing this formula, which by the way, we've been doing with businesses for over 27 years, has helped tens of thousands of companies. So many of you have probably made mistakes in your life. So just go ahead and for your own purposes, raise your hand if you have in fact made mistakes in your life. You know, how many are you would say that you're experts at making mistakes? For myself, I've got to put both hands up and even a leg. Here's the reality though, is we learned to walk by falling down. Right? We made lots of mistakes, but we're given encouragement and support and help along the way. Right? So all we knew is that we were doing exactly what we were supposed to be doing. So then what happens when we become an adult? We're taught that we can't fail, right? So we stop putting ourselves out there. Well, I guarantee you're going to learn specific steps, ideas, and strategies to help you stop making mistakes in your business and be a better business leader. But here's the catch. You must choose to put yourself out there and take action. If you just simply sit and listen today to the information that I'm sharing, you're going to absorb about 7% of it. If you take notes, that absorption rate goes up to 50%. And if you participate, things like if you take notes in different colors, so you bring in both the left and the right hand side of your brain, if you raise your hand or respond to questions as I ask them, even though it's virtual, right, and you don't have your cameras on, that's okay. Participate along the way, because when you fully participate, your retention rate actually goes up to 98%. So the only failure then is the failure to what? Call this out for me, everyone. Yeah, it's the failure to participate. So if you give 100% during this seminar, then you're going to get 100% out of it. At the end of the seminar, I am going to ask you to take action. I'm going to present you with an offer that you're going to want to take advantage of. So can I get everyone's commitment that you're going to participate and take action today? Go ahead and again, raise your hand to yourself or give me the thumbs up in the chat box. All right, a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Canada and moved to the US in 2005. I started working at the age of 15 at a local gas station where I opened the store on the weekends at 6 a.m. while the owner slept in. Then for the past 28 years, I've had a very successful career of managing businesses and coaching teams within corporations. I've had many different experiences on businesses that I believe you all know well. So Kentucky Fried Chicken, Raid, Off, Ziploc, Saran Wrap, Edge and Skintimate Shave Gel, Scrubbing Bubbles, Pledge, Fantastic, Sargento Cheese, and Red Gold Tomatoes. These businesses ranged anywhere from 1.5 million to over 500 million in revenue. In that same time, I've coached, trained, taught, and mentored well over 200 people. People I've coached have gone on to become vice presidents, presidents, and even a CEO of corporations both here and in Canada. The reason I do what I do is because of my family. And here is my wonderful family. On the far left, my eldest stepson, Tony, and next to him, Enrique. They both live in Milwaukee. And then my beautiful wife, Petrita, in the middle there. And then in front is our youngest, Adrian, who keeps telling us that he's no longer little anymore because he's just turned 14. I've chased my career over the past 10 years, which has required me to move frequently, and it's had a negative impact on my family. My wife's in a 100% commission sales career, so it takes her 3 to 4 years to rebuild her business when we move. And I've been moving us every 3 to 4 years. And so that, coupled with the fact that corporations have been focusing less on employees and more on profit, led me to realize that life was no longer a fit for me and my family, and decided to start my own business. So a little bit about Why I chose Action Coach. First of all, I believe it's the best option for me to help realize my vision to make a difference in the lives of every successful business owner in the Indiana area by helping them achieve massive results. I coach them to implement a proven methodology that over time builds a great team, gives owners time for their family and friends, while also having a more successful, growing business that provides money needed to realize their dreams. So a little bit about Action Coach. First of all, it is privately owned and founded by Brad Sugars, who is a very successful entrepreneur and author. Our vision at Action Coach is to create world abundance through business re-education. The idea is really the sky's the limit for those folks who educate themselves on how to run great businesses. When we go to school, we learn how to be great employees. We don't learn how to be great business owners. And we coach over 18,000 businesses each week around the world. We are the #1 business coaching firm, and here's a number of accolades that we've gotten around the world. And we have about 1,000 offices in 80 countries around the world. And here are some of those countries. So you've probably heard the old saying, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming and congratulate you on your investment of time and knowledge into your business. There is a definition of a sanity that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right, is insanity. So if you go back to your office this afternoon and you do the same thing that you did yesterday, you're going to get the same results. So it's really up to you to take the action to learn how to operate differently and implement that into your business. So business is not spelt busyness. So when you look at the time that you're spending in your business, you really need to understand if it's the best investment of your time. So my purpose today as your coach is to help business owners make a lot of money. It's about helping you as business owners improve your business so that you can work less and make more, which ultimately sounds too good to be true. And the reality is that it would be too good to be true if we haven't been doing it with tens of thousands of businesses around the world. Our system's not based only on theory, it's based on practical experience with real businesses achieving real results. So I'm going to reward your time today by teaching you ways to increase your sales and profits. At Action Coach, we define a business differently than most. To us, a business is a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you, the business owner. And this is all about working on the business as opposed to just working in the business. So I want each of you to do a little exercise with me here. So everyone raise your hand. Now, keep your hand raised if you can answer yes to each of these following questions. So, can you wake up at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow and not have to worry about what's happening before that time? All right. If you said yes to that, keep your hand up. Can you call into the office tomorrow and say that you're taking 2 weeks vacation starting tomorrow? All right. And then if you're still able to keep your hand up, here's the last question. Can you take off a year of work and know that everything is going to be fine? You're going to continue to receive a paycheck from your company, and the company is going to be able to operate for the next year. So with that in mind, let's do a little exercise. Take a blank piece of paper and draw a line down the center, and on the left-hand side right now, and on the right-hand side right in 5 years from now. And then I want you to ask yourselves and write the answers to these questions. On the left-hand side, what is your revenue in your business now? And what do you want the revenue to be in your business 5 years from now? Where do you live now on the left-hand side? And where do you want to live in 5 years from now? What do you drive today? And what do you want to drive in 5 years from now? What investments have you made today? And what investments do you want to make in 5 years from now? What are your upcoming travel plans today? And in 5 years from now, where have you traveled? What is your family enjoying today? And what is your family enjoying in 5 years from today? How much time are you working in your business today? And how much time are you working in your business 5 years from now? So there are 5 keys to a successful business. First of all, is sales and marketing. Okay? We're going to go through the 5 strategies of that in a little bit here throughout the rest of this presentation. Second is technology. You want to systematize the routine and humanize the exceptions. So one example of systematizing the routine is the way that you answer the phone. So instead of leaving that to chance and allowing each person to answer the phone their own unique way, figure out what's the best way to answer the phone and write a script for that so that everybody does it the same way. You're systematizing that routine task. Systems. They're key to the ultimate leverage in your business. So using best practices for hiring as an example. Right? We've got a best practice process for recruiting and hiring to ensure that you're not only attracting the right people that are going to be good cultural fits for your organization, but you're also putting them through a screening process to ensure that they've got the skills that you need, that they've got the personality that you need, that they are a cultural fit to your organization. People, of course, are your greatest asset, but they're only your greatest asset if they know the rules of the game and they are properly trained to be able to complete the tasks and deliver the deliverables within your company. And then finally, leverage. Simply stated, leverage is being able to do more with less. So becoming more efficient and effective, right? Doing something once that is able to continue to provide revenues ongoing. So some people think that sales and marketing is an expense, right? Well, should it be an expense? Well, unfortunately, in most cases, it is. And the reason why is because marketing campaigns cost money and they are usually, poorly conceived. Did you know that, in fact, 8 out of 10 marketing ads don't work? So unfortunately, this is more the norm than the exception. So as an example, I have a client who, before we started working together, signed up for a magazine ad for 18 months. And she signed up for the 18-month version because there was a discount if she did it 18 months instead of month to month. Unfortunately, she realized a couple months in that the ad wasn't working for her, that the magazine wasn't the right tool for her. And she unfortunately was stuck for 18 months. So in that case, that it was definitely an expense for her. At Action Coach, we define sales and marketing differently. We believe that it's an investment. And the reason that we believe it is an investment, because every dollar that we put into our sales and marketing activities, we get more dollars back. And the reason that that is true, or how that is possible, is because we implement a strategy that we call testing and measuring. So we test the ads, we test the different marketing strategies on a small scale, and then we measure the results of those, so that when we find the things that are working really well, we can then scale those up. And when we test things that don't work, like that magazine ad that I mentioned earlier, right? We've only done it for 1 month instead of 18 months, and we can replace that with something else. So interesting example here is we tested 2 different ads for the same product, and one ad sold 19.5 times more than the other ad. So by testing and measuring, we're really able to optimize and figure out what's our best path forward to ensure that we truly are getting a return on that marketing and sales spend. And so it truly is an investment instead of being an expense. So there's really two sides of marketing. First of all is the acquisition cost. So how much does it cost you to bring customers to your business? So as an example, if you invested $300 in advertising and you got 10 customers from that, then your acquisition cost is $30. You paid $30 to get that customer. So then through testing and measuring, what you want to be doing over time is looking at ways to reduce that acquisition cost from $30 to something less. On the flip side of that equation is lifetime value. So if those 10 customers that you brought in spend $550 a year with you for 6 years, then that's $3,300 to you, right, for each customer. So if you look back to the left-hand side of the acquisition cost, you paid $30 to acquire that customer, and you've made $3,300 from that customer over 6 years. So is that a positive return on investment? It's incredible, right? So the idea then is on the lifetime value side, how do you increase that lifetime value? How do you get those customers to come back more often? How do you ensure that they are coming back year over year over year? So to answer some of those questions, back to how I started this webinar, is the most important formula in business is the answer to that. So let me explain. So how many business owners know how many customers they have, what their revenue is, and how much profit they make? If I was asked you to raise your hand, I assume that almost everybody would raise their hand that you know how many customers you have, you know what your revenue is, and you know how much profit you make. Okay? So if I was to ask you of these three, which do you feel is the most important? Usually when I ask that question in a live setting, it's a mix. Some people say customer, some people say revenue, some people say profit. But actually, this is a trick question. The reason that it's a trick question is that actually these three are all the least important. And the reason that they're least important is because they're just results. You can't go out tomorrow and get another customer. You can't increase your revenue tomorrow. You can't increase your profit tomorrow. This is where the most important formula that I mentioned earlier gets really exciting. So let me walk you through that. There are 5 proven ways to increase your profits. And the formula is number of leads times conversion rate equals your number of customers, times number of transactions times average dollar sale equals revenue, times profit margins equals profit. So the 3 in red are the least important, as I mentioned already, because those are just results. The ones in blue are the most important. Those are the 5 ways. So let me walk through and explain each of these. So number of leads, that's how many people have voted by either calling you or coming into your establishment or have asked for a proposal. Right? Those are folks who have said, hey, I am ready to consider buying from you. And so we call those leads. Conversion rate is how many of those people have actually bought from you, right? So your conversion rate is the number of people who you've converted of leads to customers. Number of transactions, this is a measurement of repeat business. So it's how many times a year those customers buy from you. Average dollar sale is how much on average they spend with you each time they buy from you. So both of these, you know, some customers may buy from you only 1 time a year. Some customers may buy from you 10, 11, 12 times a year. So on average, how many times do they buy? Same with average dollar sale. Some customers may spend $10 with you each time they buy. Some customers may spend $1,000, but what's the average dollar sale? So then customers times number of transactions times average dollar sale equals your revenue. And then your profit margin is what's the percentage, right? How much of that revenue ends up being going to the bottom line in terms of your overall profit. So what is the percentage or what is your profit margin? So then revenue times your profit margin equals your profit. All right, so let's show this with some examples with some real numbers. So here's the formula again. Let's assume in this example that the number of leads is 4,000. So 4,000 people have said that they are interested in buying from you. The conversion rate, let's assume that it's 25%. So 25% of those leads actually became customers. So 4,000 times 0.25 equals 1,000 customers. Number of transactions, let's say that's 2. So again, some people may only buy from you once, some people may buy from you 10 times a year or 100 times a year, but on average, let's say it's 2. Average dollar sale here is $100. Again, some customers may spend $10, some customers may spend $1,000, but on average, for this example, we'll say it's 100. So 1,000 customers times 2 transactions a year times $100 per transaction equals a revenue of $200,000. Profit margins, again, let's say it's 25%. So 200,000 revenue times 25% margin equals $50,000 in profit. So if you are not looking at your business this way, if you don't know these 8 different buckets, so the 5 ways to massive profits and then the 3 results, I encourage you to write this down and make sure that you are starting to track your business this way. So then let's look at what it would look like if we were to increase each of these 5 areas by 10% over the next 12 months. And the reason that I picked 10% is because on average, just by tracking your business this way, our clients see an average of a 10% increase over 12 months. And the reason for that is that what gets measured gets more attention applied to it, and what gets measured gets done. On top of that, we have over 350 strategies across these 5 areas that you can look at and decide 1 or 2 that you want to implement in your business over the next 12 months. So for example, number of leads. One way that we can improve our number of leads is by implementing additional marketing programs. You might attend a networking event. You may ask your current satisfied customers to recommend you to somebody that they think would benefit from your services. So let's assume a 10% increase here. So we'd go from 4,000 to 4,400. Conversion rate. One way to improve your conversion rate is to get testimonials from your existing customers and use those testimonials in your sales process to show other people that you have satisfied customers who are benefiting from your services. So if we were to implement that and get a 10% increase here, we'd go from 25% to 27.5. Notice that's a 10% increase, not a 10-point increase. So 4,400 leads times 27.5 gives us a new customer base of 1,210. Number of transactions. So if we were to improve that by 10%, we would go to 2.2. One way to improve transactions is to book the next visit. So a hair salon is a good example, right? If you should get your hair cut every 6 weeks, we're all busy and we likely forget, and maybe we don't go back for 7 or 8 weeks. So at each appointment, the great way to improve the number of transactions is to just pre-book the next appointment so that you are getting them to come back every 6 weeks, and we're increasing those number of transactions. Average dollar sale. The easiest way to improve your average dollar sale is to implement a price increase. Most businesses are very afraid of implementing price increases, but the reality is that your costs are going up every year. Everybody's costs are going up every year. So it's expected that you're going to pass through those costs. So if you haven't taken a price increase in the last couple of years, write that as a note to yourself to implement that right away. So if we were to improve our average dollar sale by 10%, we'd go from 100 to 110. So 1,210 customers times 2.2 transactions times 110 average dollar sale gets you a new revenue of 292,820. Profit margin improvement of 10% here. Well, first of all, the price increase is going to drop down that you take. That's going to improve your profit margins. You're also going to look at the mix. Another strategy is to look at the mix of products that you have. And if you have ones that are losing you money, then you would consider eliminating them from your sales list so that you're not losing money on those items, or take a more significant price increase on those items. So if we see a 10% price increase or 10% improvement in our profit margin, we go from 25 to 27.5. So then revenue of 292,820 times 27.5 gives a new profit of 80,525. So through these simple changes, these 10% improvements in each of those 5 areas, utilizing those 350 strategies that we've shown to work with our existing clients around the world, gets you a customer improvement of 21%, a revenue improvement of 46%, and a profit improvement of 61%. And the reason that those numbers are going up is because there's a multiplier effect. Right? This is a multiplication formula. So the changes you make at the top of the formula have a compounding multiplier effect as we work down to profits. So as a show of hands, how many of you would like to see a 61% profit improvement over the next 12 months? All right, so let's look at this in a little bit more detail. What if we were to go over the next 5 years? So in year 2, if we make those same improvements of a 10% across each of those 5 areas, the profit would go up 159%. If we did it over 3 years, profit up 317%. We make those same improvements over 4 years, profit up 571%. And over 5 years, your profit would improve almost 1,000%. So almost $500,000 in improved profit by implementing these simple strategies across those 5 areas of your business over the next 5 years. I would assume, I don't even need to ask, I would assume everybody listening to this webinar would like a $500,000 improvement in their bottom line over the next 5 years, right? All right, so the question I often get is that really possible to do in my business? Well, let me ask it back to you. If you have a list of 350 strategies across those 5 areas, that you can pick the ones that you believe will work best for your business, you implement the testing and measuring that we talked about earlier, you optimize them by tweaking them, right? Testing and measuring them, getting them right. Do you feel that it would be possible to improve 10% in each of those areas across over the next 12 months? So remember what I said earlier is, on average, just by tracking your business this way, using this formula, our clients see an average of 10% increase in each area. So on top of that, you're then going to implement 1 or 2 strategies in each of those 5 areas using that list of 350 best practice strategies. So the answer is that dreams can and do come true. So what I encourage all of you to start thinking about is how do you implement this formula into your business right away? Start thinking like an entrepreneur. Right? What is your plan for the future? What things do you need to change today in order to realize your dreams that you listed earlier, to realize those dreams of 5 years from now? Because as I mentioned earlier, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the results that you've always got. So don't give up on your dreams. They are real, they are achievable, and they're simple best practices that you can implement in your business to be able to achieve those dreams. So the question that I have for everyone then is, what would you do with an extra 300 hours over the next 12 months? So if you think back to that 5 ways example that I shared, the profit improvement over that 12-month period was just over $30,000. So if we assume that your time is valued at $100 an hour, you take that 30,000 and you divide it by 100, and that's 300 hours. So then what I would encourage you to think about is, how would you invest that $30,000 in incremental profit in terms of systems in your business, in terms of getting the right team in place and getting them trained, so that the systems and the team can give you back 300 hours of additional personal time. So if you had 300 hours extra personal time, what would you do with it? Who are the people in your life that you'd spend more time with? What are the activities that you would do with your extra time? Where would you travel to spend those 300 hours? What dreams would you realize when you have those 300 hours of free time, of personal time to invest in travel with friends and family? So in wrapping up here, I just want to share a couple of quotes with you. The first is from Jim Rohn. Jim says that you should never wish your life were easier. You should wish that you were better. He says that you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So think about what I've just taken you through, and write yourself some notes in terms of, what do you need to be working on? What do you need to be doing to become a better version of yourself? What things are you challenged with in your business that you need to learn how to be better at that? You need to learn how to be more efficient and effective. At Action Coach, we have a formula called the formula for success, and it's be times do equals have. So we all want to have certain things in life. Right? That was the dream exercise that I had you go through earlier, right? Mapping out what are the things you want to have in 5 years from now. Right? So we all have those things that we want out of life. And for those of us who have gone into business for ourselves, we've determined that in order to have those things, it's likely a more direct path of being a business owner than being an employee. And generally speaking, those 3 things, or those things that we want to have out of life, are in 3 buckets: freedom, flexibility, and wealth. Now, each of us will define those 3 buckets differently, right? In terms of what does freedom, flexibility, and wealth look like for you individually. But here's the problem. With that formula, be times do equals have, we tend to focus all of our time on doing. We're going to do more. We're going to work harder. We're going to work longer. We're going to find ways to be more efficient with our time. But the reality is that there's only 24 hours in a day. And so at some point in time, we all reach our individual capacity. We become the bottleneck in our company because we just simply can't do anything more. And so let's assume that with this formula, B times do equals have, let's assign values to it. So let's say 1 unit of B times 1 unit of do equals 1 unit of have. So if we get really, really good at doing, working harder, working longer, finding ways to be more efficient, potentially finding ways to live on less sleep. Let's say that we increase our do by 10. So now it's 1 times 10 equals 10 units of have. If we were to convert 5 of those units of B of do into be, we now have a formula that's 5 times 5 equals 25. So my coaching to each of you is to focus on how can you be a better version of yourself? How can you guide and direct your team better? How can you implement best practices of running your business more efficiently and effectively by implementing systems and processes and procedures and disciplines? How can you recruit better people that are long-term fits to your organization? How can you motivate and encourage and lead people better so that you are getting much more and stronger results out of your organization? And then Brad Sugar says that where you'll be in 5 years will depend on the books you read, the people you associate with, and the actions you take. So, what books are you reading to become a better version of yourself? What people are you associating with to become a better version of yourself? And most importantly, what actions are you taking from those learnings in your business to take your business to the next level? Because here's the reality. We are either growing or we're dying. There's no such thing as a status quo, because our competitors are growing. So if we're status quo and our competitors are growing, by result, we're actually shrinking or dying. So we'll become the average of the 5 business owners we spend the most time with. So back to this quote, what books are you reading about great business owners? What videos are you watching about great business owners? What great business owners are you surrounding yourself with so that you're continuing to grow and develop and progress your business? So when you become a client and start working with me, I invite you to workshops and quarterly planning sessions and conferences, and you get access to videos and best practice learning so that you can grow your business and take it to the next level. So there's really 2 directions or 2 general questions that I get at this time. So remember at the beginning, I mentioned that we'd give you an offer that you'd be crazy not to take action on. Well, there's 2 directions that you can go at this point. One is to say, hey, Tim, thanks for this information. I love what I learned. I'm going to take it from here and implement this in my business. Maybe I'll order one of Brad Sugar's books to help me navigate. But you know, I'm good to go from here, and I'm gonna take it on my own. Or for those of you who want to get massive results, you might be asking, you know, how do I get more details about what I learned today? So this is what I do. As your business coach, I work with you to implement the 5 ways to massive profits that we just talked through in your business. You know, I become your uncomfortable friend who pushes you when you need a little kick in the butt, who confronts you when you're in, you know, when you're making excuses of why you're not able to do the things that you need to commit to doing in your business. I'm the one who reminds you of your dreams, of your end goal, right? When things get tough and you want to quit. Because yes, business is hard, and there will be times that you're going to want to quit. So just like a sports coach who continually pushes folks to excel, you've hired me to do the same for you so that you can achieve the business successes you want to be able to realize the personal dreams that you have. So if you are one of those people who have chosen the second option, if you want massive results and are ready to do whatever it takes to get there, I have a special offer for you. I figured that there's no better way to know if we should be working together in a coaching relationship than to actually do a coaching session. And the first one's on me. So everybody watching this webinar is invited to have a complimentary business strategy session with me valued at $2,500. I have a limited number of these sessions that I offer each month. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, you're going to want to take advantage of this right away. Now, the process starts with a brief questionnaire, gives me a little bit of background on your business and the goals that you have and the challenges that you're facing. And then we'll meet for 2 hours and do a deep dive into your business to show how our methods will help you, and to help you determine if coaching is right for you. And then at the end, if we both agree that it makes sense to work together, I'll ask you to make a decision about which coaching program is right for you, and we'll get started right away. Look, my passion is growing businesses and coaching business leaders. So I guarantee that you'll walk away from that coaching session with at least one strategy you can implement in your business immediately. So if you want to take advantage of the complimentary coaching session, you can sign up at the link that's here on the screen, or send me a message and I will get you signed up for that. So now it's time to look back at your notes, determine the 2 to 3 things that you need to implement in your business and to get into action. Our company name is intentional because we know that results come from taking action. So as an action coach, I am coaching you on the actions that are most important in your business. So review your notes, determine which things are most important for you, and make sure that you commit yourself to implementing those things in your business. I appreciate your time today. If there are any questions, please go ahead and chat them or write them into the chat box. If folks who are listening to this webinar as a recording, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, talk to you more about that complimentary business strategy session that I mentioned, and help you determine if coaching is the right opportunity for you to implement these best practices in your business, help you to find those extra 300 hours of time, and really help you to take your business to the place where you're able to realize the dreams that you have, both for your business and for your personal life. Appreciate your time today. Have a fantastic week, everyone. Take care.